Hello, hello. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Reality Realness with 3 S's. I'm your host here, Chantele and Francis, with my amazing and woke co-host, Tanya. How are you doing this morning, Tanya?
Good morning. This is the early bird edition. I'm actually kind of excited to talk about this with a coffee. It feels like going back to our coverage of Tasha and Claire when we would do it
afternoon. Yes.
Day, and it was a little bit colder out, and here we are.
You know what? I do like the idea of having like a morning chat.
Yeah.
Like it's like primetime morning, like Regis and Kelly, or it's
Exactly.
like you know what I'm saying.
This is our daytime version.
Love it. Well, if this is your first time here in Reality Realness, well then welcome. Please do us a favor and subscribe to the channel. We're just trying to build a community of people that love talking about reality TV and who are willing to wake up early to talk about Bachelor in Paradise, which is what we're doing here today. So episode 9 is upon us. In the previews, I found that it showed a lot of Kendall and Joe, and I was like, I guess this episode's about Kendall and Joe. I feel like their whole storyline is really played out. Like, what's your thoughts about like her coming to this show, like their whole storyline?
I'm just confused as to how they are on different pages, and if that's actually like a fallout still of their breakup, or if it's just a new realization. Because for me, for Kendall, and we said this from the beginning, like, she shouldn't have gone there. If that's really what she was wrestling with, like, she shouldn't have gone. So the fact that she did, and the way that this information becomes revealed is really strange, I guess. With that being said, though, I have empathy for her in the sense that I've definitely been in a position where people have told me not to do something, or I knew that something wasn't good for me. And then I still just did it anyways, because I maybe had a bit of hope that it might work out differently. So I don't blame her for going. I just think like the result is exactly probably what was going to happen. And it's painful to put yourself through that. Like, why would you do it?
Absolutely. I mean, I guess how I am deducing what had gone on is that she didn't think that he would find somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it felt like their entire relationship, from what we saw, I don't know really what went on behind closed doors, but it seemed like she was kind of in control of the relationship, and it's kind of like all about how she felt and what she was doing, and he was kind of like her accessory. That's what it seemed like from my perspective. And so I think that she probably thought that she still had a bigger hold on him, that she would be able to still not manipulate, but have a little bit of control of his actions and how he'd feel if they were to get back together. Because it seems even more so now that it was her decision that they were to break up. And so it's like, oh, I'm deciding that we break up. I'm going to decide that we get back together. I'm going to decide whether, you know what I mean? It seems like it was more centered around her. And so I think that she's probably a little bit thrown off by the fact that he's not jumping back into a relationship with her at the snap of her fingers. Mm-hmm. So I feel bad for her, but I think I understand him choosing to move on when she decided that he wasn't important enough to her to move to Chicago or just give it a shot. So I don't see anything that he's done as wrong. I just am very surprised that she came to the beach, because like
and I know they have no control over like what order they go in, but I do think like the fact that he went in first, she didn't have control over that. And it really seems like they've kind of shaped this season around Joe. I know like couples form and blah, 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 but like Joe is really like one of the main characters of the season. So it's also not an advantage to come in when he's been established as this person that they're featuring, and you're the other person that's coming in, you're immediately at a disadvantage. So it's almost like she wouldn't have even had an opportunity to really have the conversation that she wanted to without already being involved with somebody else.
Exactly. Like, if he was going to be there for 3 weeks, like he would have had to have been talking to at least one other person, maybe even 3. So it depends. It could be, no matter what, you're going to be walking into a mess if you're not going to be part of the OG crew. Somebody on another podcast mentioned something that I thought was, it made a lot of sense to me. So Kendall has an identical twin. And so they were suggesting that it's very hard for identical twins to leave their other half. Like it's just, so that could have been one of the driving factors as to why she didn't want to pick up and leave and move to Chicago. Cause like I have a lot of twins in my family and like they stay together, they live together. When they get married, they live right next door to each other. Like I know that twins have that really close bond. And so that could be another really big motivation for her to want to stay in California or LA. So
true. I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
Good point here. Tamika's here. Hello, Tamika.
Good morning, Tamika.
Good morning. Yes. Hi, Jessica. Thank you for being here. Okay, so we're probably going to touch back again on the Kendall and Joe of it all, and Serena, of course. Why did I write this down? I said Blake looking in a mirror. Oh, okay. It's their opening scene. So
talk about a dud, by the way, of a character. We'll get to that too, but
why was it him? Like, okay, I need to be on casting for these shows because why do they choose people that we have never heard of? Like he was gone with week 1. I don't know. Was he on Tayshia's season or Claire's? Like, was he?
I think he was on Claire's, I guess.
Wait, did we?
Were there 2 Blakes?
There was 2 Blakes. Yeah, I remember there being 2 Blakes. Anyways, the point is that he didn't make it to my memory.
No.
And so, like, why is he on?
Putting it, he didn't make it to my memory. No space for him.
Like, not there at all. But anyway, so in his opening scenes, he has them looking in like it's kind of like a handheld mirror. I was like, okay, is he supposed to be super vain? Apparently, I don't know anything about him. On Chelsea, we have her doing an over the shoulder, like kind of looking back model style. Whatever. And there was one more. Oh, Little John, like they slide him a shot down the bar. I thought that was kind of cute. Like, yeah. Okay, hot take. I don't know if it's a hot take, but Little John, I think, is my favorite host.
I was going to say the same thing. I was actually going to say the same thing. It just is the perfect level of self-referential, and also like his energy somehow works because he already is kind of a character. He's not like playing it up. He's just like coming in and serving his taglines. So I agree. I like looking at him before. Yeah.
I can't even believe I'm saying this. It's so ridiculous. But like, I totally agree with you. Every time he came in and like, even like, let's get it started. Like, you know, whatever he's saying. I'm like, I'm here for it, Little John. You should be the permanent host. Like, that's the direction the franchise should be going in. I'm in. Sold. Tamika says, I don't understand how you say Joe is your person, but you could be a compromise or bi-coastal something. Try it out. Absolutely. And this is what Joe has been saying this whole time. Like she broke his heart when he wasn't enough for her to make that decision to give it a shot. And with her making that decision, she ended it with him. Like that's a deal breaker, I think. Her not wanting to try. I'd be like, yeah, you're not that into me.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Tamika likes Little John as the host too. He's also Team Natasha, shouted her out in his stories. That's awesome.
Oh, Lil John or okay. He gets it. He understands what's going on.
Definitely. So we're going back to Joe and Serena, and they were kind of back on the beach and they're making out and slow dancing. Isn't there anywhere else that they could be doing this instead of like what seems to be right in direct eye line of Kendall?
Yeah.
And with everybody be like, woo! Like,
I feel like I don't fault Joe for being as direct as he was with Kendall about the fact that door was closed, because you do have to tell someone that and you have to be clear about it. But I mean, he could have probably gone about it a little bit better with some of these demonstrations, because it is still someone that you had a very serious relationship with. I personally wouldn't put someone that I loved that much, that I clearly had a really troubled breakup with because there was such an intense relationship there, through something like that. I wouldn't, personally. I know the show's probably also pushing it, but like,
it was just bizarre.
Mhm.
So, Kendall walks away and she goes and talks to Wells. And I don't remember exactly what they said to Wells, but she decides to go and have another little talk with Joe. And I was like, uh-oh, this isn't good timing, because he's in all this like love land with Serena, and then you're going to come back in. I don't think it's going to be good for Kendall at all.
Mhm.
So she goes and talks to him, and she mentions that she never stopped loving him. And it's just kind of like, where was his energy a year ago? Like, where was his energy when they're making the decision to break up? I do understand absence makes the heart grow fonder. I do understand seeing your ex with somebody else makes you realize what you had and maybe want it back. But I thought it was a little bit selfish to insert herself in this moment when, she let him go. So,
Yeah.
doesn't she want him to be happy? And this is definitely going to be infringing on that relationship a little bit.
And you have this conversation before you both go on Bachelor in Paradise,
Yeah.
or after he comes back or something. But like to have it there when he's like when your blinders are on, like feel like everyone on the show, because they spend so much time together, they get to this place where they're falling in love with each other after like less than 2 weeks. Like when you're in that state of a relationship with someone where you're so infatuated with them and you're so like into them, and it's just like so driven by that initial connection, you're also not thinking clearly. So he's articulating how he's feeling right now and he wants to explore that. That's totally fine. But like, that's also may change once you're not in that setting anymore. Or like, this conversation would have been best had not in the context of the show, because no one's coming from a place where it's going to really be had the way that it needs to be had, I think.
Well, it's like, is Serena going to be moving to Chicago? Like, this could fizzle in a hot second. Who knows?
Yes.
Like, she's from Toronto. She's not even from the same country. So, she should have maybe put a pin in it. But, I mean, she still can, realistically.
Yeah.
But, yeah, they basically break up for real. He's like, I'm investing the time in Serena. Sorry, girl. They hug it out. And Joe says something that, you said, really being clear about your intentions. And she says he came to the beach knowing that it was over between them. And I was like, that must have stung.
Yeah, that hurts.
Stung. So Kendall, obviously upset, goes over to Tia and Becca. And she says goodbye to Ivan, and she says goodbye to everybody. So she's leaving the beach, which it makes sense. There's no need for her to be there anymore, especially because, like, knowing who comes, Ed and DeMar, I just don't see her with either of them. So, bye, Kendall. I did like you on your original BIP season. I'm not sure if I loved the storyline this time around, but I do wish her the best. So, bye-bye. Joe and Serena are cuddling. Joe lets Serena knows what happened with Kendall, etc. And Serena was really good, in my opinion, of like listening and allowing him to have feelings about it. Because I feel like most men would just like don't want to show the new person that he's affected at all because he doesn't want to hurt her. But she's allowing him really to be like, it's okay to be upset. It's okay to be hurt. She is somebody that you cared about. And she feels for Kendall as well. And so I do like how for someone that's 23 to be so gracious in this situation.
She's been really good about these types of like more difficult conversations with Joe. So I do commend her for that, for being able to just like see it for what it is. From what we see, luckily not talking shit about Kendall or anything. I feel like in a lot of past seasons that woman that's in the relationship now would like start rumors or drama, or God forbid if this was Demi, we know that would have happened.
Yeah.
So I appreciate the maturity. My concern is like, how often are you like, yes, hold space for him, let him feel his feelings in this situation is not a problem, but I wonder like how this would trickle into like her letting things slide with him maybe in the future.
She's gonna have to draw the line. Absolutely. Like, okay, enough is enough. Like, either like if you're not over her yet and you still need to talk about her, I think we need to put a pause in our relationship. Like that would have to be, a line eventually, because like she can't hold space for him for years and years. It's like, well, why is she a part of our relationship?
But now it's a clean slate, so like we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see. So Jamaica doesn't think that the storyline was great at all. She says the entire storyline was dumb. Yeah,
it was.
It was a little bit silly. I mean, I did like her walking onto the beach in her dress. I thought she looked good.
Yeah, she looked amazing. I was like, she has like a full 6-pack on display. Like,
yeah, good.
She's
very good. So poor Kendall is crying in the car as she's leaving, and she says that Joe is my person.
Oh,
my person. Grey's Anatomy people. I didn't even see that episode, but I know.
That's the quote. Yeah.
So Ivan obviously is upset because he has no prospects now. And I don't know if you noticed this part, but they're all kind of talking. I don't know who actually said this line, but they said that Kendall, Joe and Serena said, "I love you." So they said like, "Oh, I'm whatever." They said, "I love you," and James is like, "Who?"
There's this episode like just messy, like waiting to get all the gossip. I was like, maybe he's kind of like us a bit.
I don't like James anymore, but I just think it's hilarious that he has all the tea.
He does. He's always sitting around where everyone's chatting, usually by himself.
So, yeah, James is another casting dud. I don't know what's going on here. Like, he's getting to the end.
I know. No, I mean, next week I feel like we're going to wipe a lot of people off the board as they really establish in this episode who are the main relationships going forward. So we may get one more week of James. I think there's no way.
Well, you don't think Tia's gonna give him her rose? Oh boy, that's another.
I think she might, but I don't think they're in a relationship for the long haul at all.
He just has, I don't know what it is. He's not unattractive. I think that his accent's kind of like, it's a little bit endearing to a certain extent. Is it just the fact that he has no personality, or he's not funny? Like, what is it about him that it doesn't land for me? I'm like,
Yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't know, but apparently he has some fans online. You were showing me, so that was really funny.
So I'm noticing, I don't know if you noticed this, but Becca is narrating a lot more these episodes. Is it because Demi's gone? Is it because like she's, I don't know, she's good at it. She's definitely good at, it just feels like it's her show all of a sudden.
Mm-hmm. But also not, because they're not really showing her and Thomas at all, but they're showing her narrating, and then also kind of like how she's there for her friends in different situations, which is fine. But like,
is this a host audition? Maybe
they really seem to want her to host things because she does host the podcast, and she was hosting the Bachelor Live show
on tour.
Maybe
if that ever came to Toronto, I'm sorry, we would have to go.
I feel like it would be so ridiculous, because isn't there also like dancers in the show?
I don't know what it's all about.
There's like literally like, so it's like a live Bachelor experience where like there's somebody, and then there's like people that they bring for them to date, and they like basically like do the show, but like super condensed in a night, and it's in a theater space, and there's like also like dancers that are hired. Like Sydney from Bachelor in Paradise, so from the other season, was like a dancer in the show. So I'm like, is there like scene changes? There's choreo, there's costumes, and then there's Becca and Ben hosting. It sounds like a train wreck, to be honest,
yes.
But like, out of pure curiosity, I would grab my 2 drinks and like have a seat and enjoy the Bachelor Live for sure.
Like, there's not a person that I can think of that I wouldn't love to experience that with.
Like, if it happens, you gotta go.
Yeah, like me and my best friend Anna, we're making plans to go to Vegas to go see Magic Mike.
Oh, well,
right?
That's like a hit, right?
I mean, it just obviously I like male dances in general, but I don't like usually male like erotic type dancers. It's very embarrassing. But this is like embarrassing and like screaming woman in a way that like is palatable for me. So like we're gonna go for our birthdays.
It can be a fun experience if you
Absolutely.
enjoy that. Like, I don't know, there's something very interesting about how appealing that is, and I'm not judging at all. I just think it's like some kind of special situation to get that Magic Mike or Thunder Down Under show.
I mean, it's hilarious. My dad lives in Vegas, so I've been to Vegas a gazillion times. And one time, my friend, she was dancing in one of the shows, and so I went to go see her dancing. And then I was meeting some of her dancer friends, and there was one guy. I'm going to show you the picture after. He's fully was in Thunder Down Under, and like totally like always body rolls when we went out. Just like,
that's so funny.
Obsessed. Okay. So Jessica says, I don't know if it's just me, but the caliber of men this season are not doing it for me. I think is that it's because they're relying on Aaron to bring the drama.
I mean, who are like the top guys were all not even appealing, really, in some capacity. Like the main guys on the show right now are Joe, Noah, like youth. I don't know. I guess Aaron is featured a lot, but at least he's doing something. Who else is in there? Brendan was like such a key factor that ended up being, not a great person as this went on. They're finally showing so much more Riley and Marissa as well, thank God. But like it's few and far between of like good guys. Even that like bringing Ed with DeMar to me was like, oh, okay, like random, but okay.
Did anybody ask for that? I mean, DeMar I would like to see down there, but like Ed? Who wants Ed? Were they hoping that Jason was still going to be there?
I just feel like if they had put DeMar like in the spot that they put Karl in, for example, that would have been so much better for us. I know they have to keep some like silly folks in there that are going to stir it up, and that's like part of the early casting, but like why'd you bring in DeMar so late? It doesn't make any sense.
If you brought in Karl later, you'd come with a date.
Yeah.
So like you'd be able to get some of that drama out and like some high fives with Aaron and James. Like
they didn't really have any top guys in the franchise this time. Like all of these guys are like kind of like, I guess, yeah, Brendan placed the highest, maybe. Like I actually don't even know. There's no other like top tier performers in the series. Everyone's kind of like these middle of the road guys, or like I don't
Chris? How's Chris making it?
Jason, like there's a lot of like randoms.
Jessica also says it seems like a lot of these guys have no personality. Yeah, they're boring. They are definitely boring. They aren't catches, like we're gonna see next week that Dean and Kaylin come to the beach. And not that I like Dean, but like everybody was interested in Dean, and they wanted to date Dean, and he had like just people that were just like, I dated him and I talked to him and I'm going on a date with them, and he like they didn't have any Deans on this season where everybody was interested in them, and so
that could have been Ivan. I forgot he plays Ty. But like I don't know, he just doesn't have the
poor snore. But I can't wait to speculate as to what he's done.
Makes
no sense why Joe and DeMar are in last.
I know.
Yeah, Dr. Joe should have been like, if Dr. Joe was in there in the beginning with Brendan, like be there with your best friend. Like he could have pursued Natasha if that was somebody that he had been interested in from before, and allowed Brendan to talk to somebody else.
And Bachelor Nation loves Dr. Joe. Like this is such a stupid thing once again, where it's like they announced prior to that he was going to be part of the cast as a way to like get people hyped, and then like you don't even show the guy until the second to last or third to last episode, where it's very clear that he doesn't really stand a chance of making it far. Like it makes no sense to me, other than to just like try and gain the favor of the people who like him, try and appeal to them to watch. Like bring him in sooner, bring both of them in sooner. These are guys that people had on their list. Like Come on.
And so then, well, is it because like they're hoping that people will get coupled up and that he would like come in and then break up a couple? But
Yeah,
it's like if it's too late, he's not that a big of an aggressor and like go after like and get the woman that he wants. It's not really from what I've seen in his personality. So he's not the guy to be doing that. That's the Karl of it all, to
yeah,
go in and get his girl or whatever. But I think that's definitely an epic plot. And I think that another thing too, I don't understand what the franchise is doing with announcing people early. Because they did it now also with the new Bachelor has been announced. And he's like, do I like this guy? I don't know. We know that he's not going to be getting with Michelle. So is he going to get to Final Four? And so like they were expecting everybody to just fall for him because like some white intern thinks he's cute. Like, I don't understand why they're doing this. And I also don't understand why it needs to be back to back to back. Can't we have 1 month of a breather just so we can like miss the franchise again? Like, we got so excited for Bachelor in Paradise because we had that mini hiatus of like maybe a week or whatever from Katie's season. But like, it was nice to have a hiatus and be excited to come back into the franchise again. But this is overlapping Michelle's season. I was like, really? That's annoying. It made me not want to cover Michelle's season, but I do, of course.
Yeah, but it's a quick turnaround. It's like we're right back into it, essentially.
Now, I don't know about you, but I don't think I want to cover Michelle's season. Mm-hmm. If you were willing to do that, I would love for you to do it with me. But I don't think I'm going to do, what's his name?
Clayton? No. Yeah, I'm definitely down to cover Michelle's season. One, because A, we're huge fans of her, but B, promos and like she looks phenomenal. She has that natural charisma. I think she's like one of the more universally well-liked people that we've had. There doesn't seem to be this element of controversy. I feel like it could be a return to the good old days. And also, apparently I've been reading online, some people have been discussing on Reddit that they have actually like diversified the production team a lot more. So there's actually like Black women that were involved in casting for this season and like actual like people of color in production and specifically Black women that will help to facilitate. So still ABC, still Bachelor. My hopes are not high. And I don't know what level of position these women have in the room, but it's encouraging that that's at least starting to shift and it's happening for Michelle's season, going back to traveling, even within the US, they can change the location. I'm just like really excited to see. She really is like coming off so well in all the footage that we've seen so far. So she just got like that natural lead energy. I'm very excited. Very excited. For her.
Like the level of promo and like how hers is just so like high end, and Katie's, I'm sorry, Katie, but hers really was a budget version of the show. It just seems like, you know, like a school play production, and then hers, and then but Michelle's is Broadway. You know what I mean? So
she looks really good.
So I'm excited for that. So I'm happy that you want to do that with me as well.
As for Clayton, I don't care. Like,
I'll watch it, but I don't think I want to.
Literal AI composite of like 5 previous Bachelors. I feel like the show is making the safest decision they possibly could by like returning to the literal like stereotypical looking Bachelor that they've had for every season. And I don't think he's appealing, even just from the limited things that we've seen about him. I'm not interested. Like, I don't.
He's not the guy that I'd be like, him. But
I think they're announcing it so early to kind of get ahead of any type of controversy or scandal, because it's like, then they can kind of phone through or maybe have more control over what type of information comes out, or have given him like the heads up to clear his shit, so that by the time his season airs, they're not going to be like digging up all of this stuff about this guy. Honestly, I think it's probably a concern for them at this point, given their track record of purposely casting awful people. So I think they're trying to get ahead of it. That's my guess of why they're basically have put this information out there before we've even seen his season.
I think it's because they're trying to like hold on to the Bachelor Nation fans that love the Peters and the Shawns and Coltons, all that fan group. Like, I don't think that those fans enjoy the diversity. So I think that they wanted to be like, don't worry. After Michelle's season, there's no more racism talks, and it's fine. Like, we're gonna have a very, very basic white man that's going to be the lead of the show, and he's going to choose a white woman, and it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. I think they just want to reassure them.
Yeah, no, I mean, definitely that too. Like, that's what I mean by it being a safe choice for their crowd. It's like, this guy's from the South. Is he from the South? Maybe. I don't know. Former football player, maybe. Like, again, looks like all of these guys meshed together that have existed in the past Bachelor seasons. It's just like, okay, here we go.
Okay. Boring. But anyway, let's go back to the beach. Little John shows up, and this is when I was like, he's just like a well-rounded host. Like, I enjoy seeing how he brings these things to the table. And what am I talking about? I want to make it. Oh, he wants to make Paradise more interesting. He wants all of them to find love, but he loves the drama. I'm like, yes, Little John loves the drama. Like, you watch this show, Little John, without being forced to for your job. Like, I think he might. And so, yes, he's wants to turn this place upside down, and he's going to be bringing in 2 new guys. And so this is where we're going to get now Damar and Ed showing up. Like, didn't ask for Ed, but whatever. Now, hot take here. Do you think, we know that Piper and Brendan didn't handle their situation in a kind or gracious way whatsoever. That's not what I'm suggesting here. But I'm wondering if it was producer pushed, because it seems that everybody, they're like, oh, I'm going to find someone for Natasha, or we're going to look like shitty people. Like, and they immediately, like, Ed is really going to go for a Natasha. It just doesn't seem like his first pick of people to go talk to. Not that she's not beautiful, not that she's not funny, not that she's not any of those things, but it just seems like everybody being like, your first choice is Natasha, and not talking to anybody else that they showed us anyways. It just seems a little bit forced by the producers because it seems like they're covering up a mistake.
Maybe. I don't know. I was surprised by it a little bit. Like, I certainly don't think there's like off the charts chemistry with them, but I did feel like there was like a palpable interest there. And I was surprised by it because I wouldn't have necessarily thought that. But she definitely was attracted to at least his body physically. I don't know. The way she was treated was like kind of funny about that. But like, I don't know. I think that they had a certain level of ease to their conversation that I was surprised by. Again, I'm not like fireworks are going off, but like, it did seem more so actually than Joe that there was something there between these two. So sure. And it's so late that like, even if this relationship does continue, this will be one of the ones where like they don't stick it out to the end, because it's very clear that it's not like deep. But it didn't feel as forced as the Joe one did to me. The Joe one felt very pushed. It felt like, here he is, and oh, Natasha needs a date. I hope he picks her. Oh my God, he's talking to her. Oh, they're going. Like, it was like really forced. This didn't feel as forced.
Tamika agrees with you. I thought she had more chemistry with Dr. Joe personally. Oh, no, disagrees with you. Sorry. Personally, my biggest thing is that he's being too passive. Dr. Joe, but I mean, maybe he's not passive with somebody that he's really into, and so maybe he wasn't that into Natasha, like liked her, wants to get to know her, but not really to like put it all out there because like she's the one. But he does come across to me as someone that's a lot more passive. It's just his natural personality.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, fair. I felt the opposite, but I don't. I just think maybe she does like more passive guys, because neither of these guys are like super bold personalities. And to be fair, neither was Brendan. Like, I think she maybe gravitates towards people that are like that a bit more, though I don't know if that's working for her. But maybe that's what she likes, is someone that's not as big of a personality.
Maybe. Yeah, I'm not sure. I haven't listened to any of her takes or what's been going on, but maybe after this episode I'll listen to some of her podcasts just to see what her real feelings are. and her perspectives of this. Did you write down any of Aaron's sound bites when he's describing Ed's legs being like Christmas hams?
Oh my God. No, I didn't, but he had some really good lines today. My favorite, or yesterday, my favorite was when he said that Ivan is built like a pair of chopsticks. That was great. Classic Aaron, like immediately throwing out insults as per usual.
That is his thing. So Damar does pull Chelsea for a chat. And, James is actually kind of stirring the pot a little bit with Aaron, being like, oh, why you sweating, bro? I'm not. Like, they're just such bros.
I know, they really are. They really are. And watching Aaron in any of these conversations try and play off that he's fine and to completely spiraling out into being angry is pretty funny, I have to say. Like, he just goes from being like, I'm not bothered, to literally then just being in a fight because he can't contain himself any longer. Like, he just takes everything so as a personal attack, and it's not. Like, it's Bachelor in Paradise, man. Like,
why though isn't he able to keep the girl? What is it?
He doesn't actually like any of them that much. Like, I think that's what it is. Like, he's trying to act like he actually is super interested in Chelsea. I don't see that really. I didn't really see that with Tammy. I didn't really see that. Who else was he paired off with? Becca? Definitely not. Like, I don't think he actually likes them that much. And I don't think they actually like him that much. Like, I think they think he's funny and like talking to him, but like they don't actually want to date him. And same from him to them, in my opinion. But
yeah, I agree 100%. So Ed pulls Natasha for a date. And so she does mention that she had a good time with Joe, but they're not soul track, I think is what the terminology that they're using, like not the soul track, not that. I'm like, okay. And she would say yes to a date. Interesting. Well, I mean, not that we figured that she would. Damar pulls Marissa for a chat, and Damar was the only person that was on Marissa's list before getting to Paradise. Yeah, it was him. And she tells him this. She's very flirty in these kind of interactions. And poor Riley is not going to go down without a fight. He's going to keep his woman.
Yeah. I was really like worried that something was going to happen between Marissa and Riley, the way that they were building up, I guess, basically to the climax, which is their conversation. I was actually concerned, honestly, that like something was going to happen. And I liked Damar, so like I totally understand the appeal, and especially if that's someone on her list. But I also am really rooting for Marissa and Riley, and I was like, come on, can we just have like a nice love story? I was so like, please, like let this just be. And then luckily things unfold the way that they do. But for that moment, I was worried, not that she would be like down to go on the date or anything, but just like maybe this could lead to something bad happening between her and Riley. So it was a tense moment, definitely.
Well, I don't know what didn't happen in their conversation, but Damar decides to take Chelsea on a date instead. And then Ed, as we've already discussed, takes Natasha on a date. So Marissa, though, is afraid that she's going to scare Riley away because she's having these feelings now that he's not that communicative with him and he doesn't really open up with her. And so she's starting to feel a little bit she feels like as though he's like slipping away and she doesn't want to say something to him because she doesn't want to push him away. And so she's in a weird position. Now, do you think that it's warranted how she's feeling? I mean, people can feel how they can feel. I'm not saying that she shouldn't feel this way, but like, do you understand where she's coming from right now?
Yeah, I did. I feel like she's kind of like a softie. Like, I feel like I know Deandra posted yesterday during the episode, like a screenshot of Marissa like tearing up in that ITM. And she was like, this girl will cry at like literally anything, but we still love her. And I was like, oh yeah, she's just sensitive. Like, she's just like one of those people that's like really tapped into their emotion in that way. And like to what you just said, I think she was getting ahead of herself, thinking of all the bad things that could happen if she had that conversation, but that conversation was weighing on her. So I think for her, it was that emotional, honestly. But I, as a viewer, wasn't sure because we haven't seen their relationship as much or like not as intensely since actually that's not true. We did the whole whipped cream thing last week, so that's actually not even true. But I guess we haven't dug as deep into those personal conversations in their relationship. We know that there's the physical aspect, and like that's as much as we've really seen. So that's true. And he seems like someone who's like hard to open up, you know?
Definitely.
He does have a lot of things that he's keeping close, even from the season he was on in that stupid art date. For him to open up even a little bit took a lot. And that was one of those unsafe therapy style dates too. So I totally understand. But it's hard to draw emotion out of someone like that. And you can't force it, and you have to be delicate with your approach to try and
100%.
get them.
I wonder if she has seen his season, because if she had, she probably would recognize that like has a little bit of a wall that's up in that regard. Because with her not knowing that, it allows her to feel like, oh my God, he's just like doing that to me. And so I think that she would have a little bit more, feel a little bit better about it if she had realized that this is part of his personality and something that she would have to kind of work through with him. And so while she's having this crying confessional, Riley's working out. Cut to Riley working out. Cut to Riley working out. It was just like, it's just the editors have a lot of fun with these things, because Riley has no idea that she's like crying in this confessional, I think. And they just have him pumping some iron, which it seems like it's also his trope. I didn't really realize that he was like this iron pumper until he got to the beach. Didn't realize that he was the iron pumper until he got to the beach. And so they have a painting date, which I thought was not that great. So basically we have Damar and Chelsea. He feels as though they're a perfect match in a joking way, like dye-haired, big hoops, small hoops. They're a match made in heaven, and they're doing body painting. And we see Natasha painting Ed's body. And it's just kind of like, I don't know. It's just, they're not good painters. And so I don't really like this date that much. But I don't know. Tamika, what do you think of the date? How'd you find it? How'd you find the date since you're back?
I don't know. I didn't really care for this date that much. Sorry, I just went to refill my coffee. That was
no problem.
Technical difficulty. I didn't love it. They keep trying to do these weird, like, intimate dates. But I thought like they all did the best that they could in the situation. It seemed like they had it was a good group of people to be. I don't like when they do double dates though. I feel like
it's you're not going to get that deeply connected with like when you have somebody else on that date, like, and you're not an established couple, not on a first date.
Yeah.
Or, well, maybe on a first date, but like not on the show.
No. And just like makes their moments like I feel like you, especially if you're coming in later in the show. I mean, I guess they're doing it because it saves time, but if you're coming in later in the show, you probably need the one-on-one date so that you can kind of catch up and like spend the entire day with someone, as opposed to spending the day with 3 or 2 other people and then like having a few side conversations. But
yeah, it didn't work for me at all. Cut to Joe playing the ukulele. I don't know what they're doing with Dr. Joe. Like, why wouldn't they bring him in early, give him a shot? They know what his personality is like. They know that he's not someone that super goes in with a lot of like, drive in this type of situation. It would have been very good for him to maybe have been there when Brendan was there, because maybe he would have helped Brendan handle that situation better, or it wouldn't have existed at all. I don't know. I just think that they're not utilizing the people that they do have in a way that would be best for the show or for them to get in a relationship.
Yeah, it's just a way for them to performatively show that they're like casting someone that's in demand and like, a more diverse person, and then not featuring them at all in any capacity. Like every awards show does this. They'll be like, Beyonce's gonna be here, and then she wins like an award that's not the main award of the night, but they use her for like getting people to tune in and to show that they're like supporting. Like it happens like that a lot. It seems very performative to me, but.
So Tamika said that she thought that they were going to do body paint. That would have been hot. Well, they were doing kind of like Natasha was painting his shoulder, and he's like, "Ooh, are you going to give me war paint?" She's like, "No," and I'm like, "That's wrong. In improv, you say yes and like give him the war paint." And
Yeah,
I was totally like
better. I think.
Down. Pardon me.
I think body paint would have been better if they wanted to do a date that was like more like ooh, sexy.
Roll around, body paint. Ooh. Yeah, I guess, but they also don't know each other, so
no, it's true. It might not be nice.
Not really a first date type activity. I don't think rolling around. I don't know. They do it on the show though, I guess.
Yeah.
Joe and Riley both think that Ed is going to be able to snag Natasha from Joe as we cut to Joe playing the ukulele. Yeah, I mean, he's putting in a lot more effort. We see Ed and Natasha cheersing, and they kiss, and they even like talk about him having lipstick on their face. It didn't seem comfortable to me, having these kissing moments. I don't know if I saw chemistry, but I saw level of comfort and willingness to explore something. So definitely, I'm open to it. So I'm glad that they are and they have each other. We see Noah piggybacking Abigail and brings them over to some sort of like picnic setup, whatever. Like I literally don't care about this relationship at all. Riley brings over a date card. Are you hungry for love? And this is a date card for Kenny. So no surprise, he chooses Mari to go on this little date-a-roo. So this is the body painting version of like dinner, or dinner version of body painting. So they're basically going to make each other the plate, and so they're going to be serving tacos on each other's bodies. Now they're both very comfortable with their nakedness, so fine.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought it was actually revolting seeing them smear sour cream all over their thighs. Like I was like, this is disgusting.
Yeah, I blacked out actually. Honestly, like has nothing to do, to your point, with their comfort with their bodies and being naked. I support that 100%. I don't want to see anybody have sour cream that's been sitting outside smeared on them in that way. It's not I want to see.
It's not the food.
I want to see. No.
Well, like
gross. Like actually it looked gross. Like oh god, it's just like not the energy that I would like if I'm going to be eating off of someone. Maybe a different type of food. I don't know if they were going to do this.
I could maybe get behind salsa, but like it's the white creamy sour cream, disgusting. And for me, I have like an intolerance or something to yogurt, and so like when I was about 2 years old, I had strawberry flavored yogurt at the daycare, and I remember throwing up for like I was just so sick. And I threw up
an aversion to it now. Yeah,
I can't eat it at all, or I'm just like I'm terrified of like how sick I got. Yeah. And so I tried yogurt once. I had an audition where I had to eat strawberry flavored yogurt, and I was like, well, this is it. And so I took like a tiny little bite, and it's just this weird feeling where it's like your heart starts racing, and like I can just feel it going through my body. Like my body's just like against. It's like, no, don't do that. Yeah. And so I know what that feeling feels like. And I remember I had what are they called? Souvlaki. And it had tzatziki on it. And I was like, oh my God, I got so sick again. I'm like, and that's when I realized I'm like, okay, I really can't have yogurt.
Yeah.
And so I just picture that being yogurt, and then how I feel when I get sick from yogurt. And so I was just grossed out beyond. Like I was like, I could literally make myself barf if I wanted to, if I thought about it too much.
And like we don't need to like see the detail of the sour cream on his legs. Like there's like the hair mixing together. It was just very visceral in a way that I didn't need in my life. And I've shut it out now. Like I'm not going to return to that visual again because it wasn't for me.
Jessica agrees about the food date. It was not appealing at all. It's not
No.
sexy food. No. Like, I mean, I thought
No,
it was
whipped
funny.
cream and strawberries. It's not, it's not like, yeah, it's not sexy food at all. That is very, very true.
Noah and Abigail ain't going nowhere. Yeah, no, they're duds. Dudaroos. So disgusting. They switch and she comes out and he's really turned on by her. Like, he's very attracted to her. A lot of taco jokes. Fine,
Yeah.
Fine. So that was pretty much it for that part of their date. We see James decides to set up a little mini date for Tia. Like, what?
I know.
I didn't register what the date was. What were on those cards? I don't know. Bringing her back to her hometown. Yeah, I didn't really.
I was literally like reading my phone during that scene. Because it was following this date. Like, there was like a period of time where I couldn't like keep my eyes on the screen. But I mean, I thought when James did this, I was like, what is even the point? Because there's no way she's choosing you. But as we see, as the episode progresses, it might have been worth it that he put this effort in. So there you go, James. Good for you. Persevere against all odds.
They do kiss. And I'm just was like, another thing, this might be a hot take. I'm sorry for any Tia fans, but I'm not a Tia fan. I never liked her. Like, I was never obsessed with her. I did like Raven, and I know that she's Raven's friend and that she's kind of brought on because they were assuming that she's going to have the same appeal as Raven. But Raven has like a level of confidence and that Tia doesn't have that is appealing. I just don't find Tia to be that appeling. Like, obviously she's beautiful. I'm sure she's a lot of fun, but like, she's kind of whiny to me, and I'm like, I don't know if I feel like caring about. Like, remember when she was just bawling over Colton?
Yes.
Oh,
I think that's what turned me off of her more so was like the Colton of it all. Now that a lot more truth has come out in terms of all the underlying things in that relationship, I guess I have a little bit more empathy for her. But I think for me with Tia, it's like, I wish that maybe she would lean more into her like dorky side. You know what I mean? Like, I still feel like she's trying to be as influencery as these other girls, but she's actually kind of a goof. And like, I think that's more endearing than trying to be like these other girls. To me, that's the read that I get, but she's not one of my faves. She never was. I thought the call for her to like be Bachelorette was always very like off. I wouldn't want to see her Bachelorette season personally. But that's my personal feelings on Tia. I'm not really here for it.
Me neither. But James is apparently, and she's now feeling conflicted because because James is making this effort, but Blake makes her vagina dance. So, that's definitely conflict here. So Mari and Kenny have a little bit of a one-on-one, and their relationship, from my perspective, is the most real. When he's talking to her and he's like, I can't pinpoint it, like how he's looking away and she's like looking at him, like I actually believe it. I do feel it. When they kiss, I'm not grossed out.
They're really, really into each other.
They are. And so
they've overcome hardships as well in terms of the season. So that could be something that either pushes you away or immediately brings you closer. And like, seems like the Demi situation really helped them push their relationship further in this direction. So they're definitely like into each other. Do you not still feel like just an underlying like little bit of like weirdness or something though? I can't place exactly what it is. Like, I see the chemistry, it's there. I love you's exchanged, or I feel like I'm falling in love with you, exchanged. But like, there's something, maybe it's the age difference or something, because she seems so much more like mature or like older than she is, but there's something there that's like really giving me pause, and I don't know what.
I'm wondering if it's because he's not that great with his words.
Maybe.
And so he's saying these things, but he kind of sounds like a little bit juvenile in his delivery. And it's so hard for him, and he's never said I love you to anybody but his dog before. So I think that him being in this like manly like relationship forward mode, it doesn't really suit him because he's not really good at it, maybe.
Yeah.
Like she's more comfortable being in a relationship and being open about her feelings than he is, and so maybe that's where the disconnect is.
Maybe.
Not sure.
Curious to see how this plays out long term, because they're
Yeah,
definitely going to be in the finale. Definitely.
But they decide to go for dessert in the boom boom room. Okay. Okay. So Marissa does talk to Chelsea a little bit about how she needs to have a conversation with Riley, and she does go and takes Riley for a chat. And you know, with how they built it up and how she was like super scared about it, and he was completely in the dark with what she was feeling, I was getting worried. I was like, oh no, like if she is it going to make him flip and switch and then close off completely? Like, oh my god, how's this going to go down? How's she going to approach it? How she's going to start it? And it wouldn't necessarily have been how I did it, but how she ended up doing it was really good. It gave him an opportunity to work on or share with her his family and his mom and his dad and what he's learned and being closed off to them. And he ends up crying even, and she's just really allows him to be where he's at and being there for him. And I thought it was definitely a breakthrough moment in their relationship. And you know, she's also someone, she says that she's really closed off and guarded. And so it seems like they're both going to take the risk on each other, which I'm here for.
Mm-hmm. This was such a, like, this scene is why we like the show. Like, these moments that actually happen in the show, sincerely, like, I was honestly feeling like I was tearing up because it was very sweet that they were both able to be that vulnerable with each other. And because of the edit fake out, I was thinking this was like he was not going to be able to receive that 100% or not be able to meet her where she needed to be met. But the way that she kind of gently said that she did need to hear or wanted to hear how he was feeling, and then for him to kind of let his walls down and reveal that, which must have been very difficult for him. Like he got very emotional, but clearly like felt comfortable enough to do that with her. And then just her reaction to that and how she embraced him in sharing that and how she was proud of him for sharing that. And just like everything after, I was like, this is the most genuine, sweet thing I've seen. Like I was
like, I can do this. I can do this. I can do this.
Yeah.
Aww.
I was like, this is wonderful to see. And like, I'm really glad it didn't go in the direction where they separated from that and that it actually made them stronger, because I'm really rooting for them. I really hope that they like actually like make it through this and like are still a couple now. I don't know what their situation is, but I really love them together. And I think they're really well matched, and they might actually draw that out of each other over time, which is a really wonderful thing.
Well, I think it's great that they're both not necessarily good at opening up. And so they are able to hold space for the other person in the way that they need it, because they're both so unfamiliar with like holding that space. And so I think it could really, it's kind of like that first love type thing. Like it could really, really draw them together for having this like new openness in their relationship that they've never experienced with anybody before. So yes. I think this could be grounds for them being a long lasting relationship, because they're both experiencing something so extreme with each other for the first time.
And he's 31. Like, I feel like he can recognize, like when he said that he could see himself like waking up on a Sunday morning, like with her and that being their life, it didn't feel like a hyperbole to me. Like it actually felt, maybe I'm just like so hopeful that this is like real that I want to believe that, but it felt real to me. Like I was like, I could see that. I could see them being together in life. So I hope they are, but love this scene. It was actually a beautiful moment.
So back to the Mari and Kenny of it all, Tamika thinks that the date producer has to be a Taurus. But you're a Taurus and you wouldn't maybe have this type of food date.
A Taurus would take into account the aesthetic appeal of the date, I think. So I don't think it would be so sloppy, but it would probably be like decadent and food related in some way, but it would be like chocolate dipped strawberries or like, you know, something more in that
beautiful type thing.
Mm-hmm. Not smeared sour cream and like
Agreed. And Tamika really loves Marissa and Riley, like so much. Yeah, I mean, I'm enjoying seeing them explore this relationship. Definitely. He does mention that he's fallen in love before, and he feels like this is the direction that they're going in, and he wants her to meet his mom, and she says it. She's like, I feel like I'm falling in love with you, and he says, I feel like I'm falling in love with you too.
Yeah.
So he went from like, I feel like that could be what it is, and she says it, and he responds. So I'm very happy that they broke past that boundary for both of them. Fingers crossed that they're just continue to grow. I like it. I like them. So the producers show up and they tell them that there's going to be a hurricane and everybody has to evacuate Paradise. Okay, so everybody's like, carrying each other and moving, and you have to pack everything, have to leave. They all get into separate cars. Like I felt like it was like the Titanic, and these were like the lifeboats that people had to get in, and like, it seemed a little bit chaotic. And then all of a sudden they're back on the beach. Like they didn't explain anything. Like I wanted them to be like, oh, we stayed in hotels, just outside the city until we let the storm pass, and it was like it took 2 days. Like what? Like I want to know what happened instead of them just like marching back onto the beach and Little John being like, hey, it's daytime. We're going to have a daytime cocktail party and rose ceremony. And it's like,
yeah, they were like, it was like women and children this way. And they were like separating like they were never going to see each other again. The only reason I can think, I knew immediately when the storm was hitting that it was not going to be a big deal and like literally the show was going to continue. I felt that right away just because I've been burned too many times by the edit on this show to believe that that was anything. That being said, I feel like it's all an elaborate setup for whatever this like hotel encounter may be between Chelsea and Ivan potentially. Like it's like the like we need to get the context before that plays out next week, I think.
Right.
Because who cares about the storm? Like I'm sure hopefully everyone was safe, but clearly they were. So it was a non-factor.
Definitely was a non-factor. So yeah, there's gonna be a daytime cocktail party, and they didn't talk about the storm really at all. Like we see people like packing everything up. So like they're like, okay, guys, let's go back to the beach. Like so they reset everything back up. It was just I would like a little bit more details as to what happened with the storm. Just a little bit. But maybe as you're saying here, maybe they're going to address this a little bit more when they get to next episode. So we will hear more about it, I guess. So Paradise survives the storm. This is Little John talking. He's been hearing the L word being thrown around a lot. And then Joe just pipes up and starts talking about their relationship. I thought this is a weird setup with everybody just like talking about where they're at in their relationship with like Little John.
This classic round table. Right? That's what brought us James being like, I'm confident in this relationship. Oh, that was really funny. But yeah, I felt like he probably like maybe he's feeling strongly about Serena in a way that is more so than in his relationship with Kendall. But I didn't feel like that necessarily needed to be said, other than I guess maybe to help Serena understand where he's coming from. But I thought that was kind of like, keep it to yourself, It's a little bit soon after your ex just left.
Little John does address that Marissa and Riley are already dressing alike and mentioning, oh, that's my man. That's my man. He calls out James, or should he call him, or it's not James, Blake, or should he say Tatty Daddy? Like, or James and Tatty Daddy.
Do you think he literally didn't know his name?
Tatty Daddy it is. And James. So, and then I wrote down, is Little John the best host? Like, yes. Like, even though like it was a very awkward, this like asking these people these questions or whatever, like, I don't know. I liked Little John bringing it up. I don't know if I liked their responses necessarily to what was being said, but I like this roundtable hosted by Little John. I'm here for it. So Tia is starting to melt down, and she doesn't feel like Blake is putting in any effort. So Tia and Blake have a conversation, and she's like, I just want someone to fight for me. And it's like, you know what? Get the hint. He's not that into you to fight for you in the way that you want him to fight for you. So you might have to either spell it out for somebody, like being like, I want you to do this, 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 and this, because it just might not be what he thinks or knows to do.
Yeah.
Or he's not that into you, or this is just not how he grows in a relationship. Like, I was actually irritated by Tia being so mad at him. I don't think he's put in as much effort, obviously, as James has, but like he's doing a little bit, like being like, I like you, I want to get to know you, like what do you want? She's like, I told you what I wanted. Like, okay, well, what exactly do you want then? So do you want me to get the producers to get me to make you a picnic date? Like, is that what you want me to do? Anyways, I was just annoyed by it.
I was gonna ask you, I was like, did I miss something about like what caused her to be so angry? Like, I thought, like what you just explained to me, I thought the same. I was like, why is this so intense to her? Like, she's telling him off. Like, sure, he's not really doing much, but also like
They met
that's
2
how
days
he's
ago.
been since we've known him. He's just like there. Like, you just have this alleged physical chemistry with this guy that you're really like riding on, and maybe you want him to be giving as much effort as James because you have more of a physical connection with him. But I was like I was gonna ask you, I was like, did I miss something that like caused her to be so angry, or is it literally just what we saw? Because that was weird.
It was so weird, and I was like, it made me not even more so a fan of her, because I was like, who are you to think that he needs to be going all like through all this effort to like, for what? Like, he doesn't know you yet. He doesn't know what you like. He doesn't know, like, you went on one date, you talk, and he was like, well, like, why did you tell me these things? She's like, well, you don't even come and talk to me. You don't even talk to me. And it's like, well, you guys are both on the beach. Like, you could, if you want to have conversations with each other, like, why is she testing him? Like, well, let's see if he comes and talks to me. Let's see. Like, go and talk to him. It's ridiculous.
Super random. I was just like, okay, why are you so mad?
I don't know why she's so mad. Like, I mean, I guess she probably deep down realizes that like she's not getting engaged to this guy. That must be like, it, and she's just starting to panic. But like, why don't you just allow the relationship just to grow on its own time?
Yeah, and it's one thing to want something from somebody that you're interested in, or to want more, like, okay, but I was confused about like the level of telling him off. And sure, his responses were not great. Like, he wasn't really doing much in response, but also I just felt like her 0 to 100 didn't really make sense to me.
Yeah, didn't me neither. I was just like, what's happening? Like, Tia, this is not how to get a storyline.
No.
Please don't do that. Like, this is the thing. The women that get that men acting like that, they don't demand it from them, right? Like, men just end up wanting to do it for them because they just enjoy their company. They want to make them happy. They want to make them smile. Nobody likes doing anything for somebody else when they feel like they have to, or that they're like being judged if they don't. Like, how the ground that she's laying out for their relationship is terrible. Like, if there was anything that was there, I think she killed it in this. Like, they're not in a place where she could be making these ultimatums and demands and like telling him how to like act, and like, you should be doing this, and I want someone to want me. And it's like, not your Bachelorette audition. You didn't pass that one last time. Someone else was selected. Sorry, Tia, not your story. So Aaron has another soundbite saying that Ivan is on a sad boy summer. He brings Chelsea over to talk to her, and he wants to show her something nice, so he gives her a runway walk and like kind of a little bit of a jokey thing. All right, Aaron. So Chelsea, though, talks to Aaron about wanting the date that she was on with Damar to be over because she wanted to get back to Aaron. Do you think this is true?
I was very surprised to hear this. Very surprised. I was like, really? Okay.
To get back to Aaron, and then they kiss, and like, I can't watch their kisses because they don't have any chemistry to me. Like, it's in my opinion awkward. It feels like, it really feels to me like this is the first few times that he's ever kissed anybody in his life. Not that he's a bad kisser, but it just seems that he's not that kiss familiar, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, it just, there's something very novice about his approach to kisses and stuff.
Two leaders and no followers. So that's what I noticed, is like two people going on the pace of the kiss, which then made it very disjointed, in my opinion. You got, like, somebody has to kind of like follow the lead, or there needs to be like some more like mutual understanding of the pacing. I'm not a kissing expert, but like that's visually what I saw going on. I was like, this is not it. But also, I did think it was kind of nice that he did the runway thing, and kind of funny. Like,
yeah, it's funny, but it's just kind of like.
But they don't have the connection.
Exactly. Like, if I just compare him to Mari and Kenny of it all, like if Kenny was to do that runway, like I would still see some like energy, like sexual energy or chemistry or something between the two of them. So I think it's just the fact that they don't have any chemistry, and it seems very forced. And 100%, you're right. There's no synergy in their kissing. It just doesn't seem to work. And so I'm giving him the blame, just because it seems as though he's the novice, as I said, in the situation. But maybe it's because they're both not allowing themselves, like she's not allowing him to lead, and he's not allowing her to leave. So that could be right. I can see that. Definitely. Did you notice, though, after their first time that they kissed, like she wipes off her mouth, and I'm like, you're not wearing any lipstick.
Yeah.
So what's going on there?
Wiping away his kiss.
Right? Like, and
I think Chelsea's keeping her options open, and I don't fault her for that, but I do think that factors into everything a bit more than just like the guys being at odds. I think she's very much like open to dating people, which is the purpose of the show. So it's a little bit weird to me that she's saying that to Aaron when clearly we know that there's something else going on.
Well, because Ivan pulls her for a chat after this, and it's on that daybed, that eyeline, like the Aaron vantage point daybed, and they kiss, like Ivan and Chelsea kiss, and it was a kiss. It wasn't great, but it was better than the kisses that I was witnessing with Aaron and Chelsea. It definitely seemed to have a little bit more passion behind it, and they were a little bit more in sync. I just thought it came out of nowhere, so like I wasn't like in it, but like he was getting upset. Obviously, Eric and James are watching them, and he's like, they're kissing. They're like kissing. They kiss. Like, just hearing James narrating the fact that they are kissing. They are kissing. Like, James, you kill me. They mentioned that. Oh yeah, he's just rose hunting. He's rose hunting, which nice terminology, but yeah, he is rose hunting, 100%. So Ivan, could I have a quick word? Come here. Come over here. And Ivan's like, no, you come over here. And he's like, no, you come over here. Come over here. Come over here. And Aaron's like, not really coming over there.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not coming there. What do you have to say?
Bitch move, bro. Bitch move. Bitch move, bro. Okay, Aaron. That's basically it. So we know that there's going to be a bit of a scuffle of some sort. I don't know if they actually go to blows, but like it gets a little bit more heated. This whole like you went in and kissed my girl thing, and then we see snippets from the next episode, and we see Ivan speaking to a producer, and he's apologizing about doing something against the rules. So what do we think happened here? Because my first thought was that he got into some physical altercation with Aaron, and that they maybe went to blows. But then other people have been giving me other suggestions, and I'm like, definitely can see that. So what were your thoughts?
My immediate thought was him somehow at this hotel, something occurred between Ivan and Chelsea. And that is what's going to come about next week. And this whole interaction that they had on the daybed is kind of like a preemptive save face to kind of sell that there's something going on between them, because the truth will come out. So it's like, well, we've always been friends, but we've always had a connection is a very like easy play to kind of throw in there. That was my read on the situation. I could be totally wrong, but that's
So
what
you
I
think
think.
though that it's not allowed to have any intimate things going on off camera so that
I
they
think they were probably supposed to be like sequestered or like isolated in some way so that they would have interacted, would have been against the rules, is my guess.
So Tamika says that they stayed in nice hotels in gender pairs. So Marissa and Tia roomed, Chelsea and Becca and Abigail and Natasha. I know for sure Marissa was pissed. Wait, to be with Tia? Why was she pissed that she didn't get to stay with Riley? I actually really understood Tia last night, and I think that she should choose James, truthfully. But also, this is why we should not let the boom boom lead us.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I just think I don't think either of them are good for her. I
Yeah.
don't care about James. I maybe am more interested just to see Blake a little bit because I do think he was thrown under the bus for like you just allow him to get on the beach a little bit, like get comfortable. Like he wasn't even on The Bachelor for that long, so he doesn't really get the whole thing. And so I don't know. She should have a little bit of grace, I think, but I don't
I
really
think
care who she chooses.
based on their actions, she should choose James, I guess, but like neither of them seem to be really that into her. Like James is doing that to stay.
Rose hunting.
Why he's doing it. Yeah. And as far as the Aaron and Ivan of it all, I think that Aaron, it's fine for him to be upset that Ivan did that because he literally just had his conversation with Chelsea and then he pulled him right after. But at the same time, like this, I don't really think that Aaron really cares for Chelsea that much. So,
No, I don't think so.
like he can try and act like that, but I don't believe it. So
hi, Natalie. It's Natalie. I'm so excited for Michelle's season. I love the promo, and I can't wait to see how Clayton made it so far and did.
I how he did too.
I want to know how he did, but I don't care about Clayton's season at all. But I care about Michelle's for sure. Tell Chelsea should choose Jamar, but she said she's not interested in Jamar.
Yeah, it's so weird.
How did you like Matt and the Miz's dances? I didn't like Matt's dancing. Personally, I'm not. I don't vibe with what he gives off. I like the Miz though. I watched the Real World. I watched the challenge, so I was rooting for the Miz. I thought he did better than I was expecting him to do. Actually, everybody did better than I expected them to do. I'm a fan of the Miz. I'm a fan. I like him. It's ridiculous.
That clip you sent me of Matt was insane. That reel today. Oh my god! Literally no cool factor to the way he moves at all.
Zero.
Oh. Oof.
Oh, she wanted her Riley. Okay, yes, Marissa wanted to be paired with Riley. I see that. All right, so that's the end of the episode, pretty much. The outro was Mari fitting chicken nuggets into her mouth. She could fit 6. Have you ever tried to fit chicken nuggets in your mouth?
No. Okay, like I don't. Maybe other Tauruses can speak to this. I don't like food being something that is a silly thing that I consume. I want to eat it and enjoy it. I don't like to do challenges. I don't like to walk while I'm eating. Like I like to sit down and eat and have my meal and enjoy. So I don't do challenges like this. However, I've definitely done something similar to this with marshmallows, but not with chicken nuggets. But I love that she chewed it initially. Like she was literally just gonna eat it. I was like, same. That's the impulse.
Whoa, wait, oh, okay. I thought it said I like James. I was like, what? So because I don't like James, hate Aaron and Ivan using Chelsea. Yes,
They both are.
annoying.
They both are.
Yeah, it's annoying. It's annoying. I'm over Aaron, obviously. I don't play with my food either unless it's judging Tamika. Uh-oh. Well, thank you everybody for hanging out joining us for our daytime edition of our Bachelor in Paradise recap. We will be back next week. Is it like 1 3-hour episode or is it 2 hour and a half? Like what?
I don't know. I made it seem like it was 3 hours, which is very long to be watching one episode of BIP. But wait, is it 3 hours next week or the last week? Because there's 2 more weeks, right?
So maybe it's 3 hours in total left in the series.
because that's a lot for one night. But I guess we'll figure that out.
Well, so we'll be back next week. I'm not sure in what capacity, but we will figure out when we can come talk to you guys again about the next few episodes. Tanya, you have anything going on that you want to share with the peoples?
No, not much. I'm really excited for fall TV. We're getting into
I
all
can't
the
believe
good
Survivor
stuff.
starting tonight. Like, are you what?
I'm so excited. I really miss Survivor, like that element of competition show. Besides the challenge, which I obviously love, like Survivor is like probably one of my top favorites. So I'm very excited for it to be back. I really missed it.
Absolutely. I'm trying to figure out all the scheduling. I don't know why 8 o'clock Wednesday became like the hot spot.
The hot spot, yeah.
Like it's really messing up. Like I don't know. I actually really still don't even know how I'm going to fit it all in.
It's a lot.
Well, especially yeah, it's a lot. So we'll figure it out. I'm not sure when we'll be doing Survivor. Like I was saying tomorrow at 7, but then maybe I won't do Big Brother today, and I'll just do like a double Big Brother tomorrow. Like I don't even know what I'm
Yeah,
gonna do.
because Big Brother's still on too. Oh my god.
And the challenge as well. And so we do the challenges a little bit later. So I have to drop one.
Mm-hmm.
And I think maybe Big Brother's one I should drop.
That's tough. Oof.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. Not sure what to do here. But I'm so happy you guys are here joining us for Bachelor in Paradise. It has still been an interesting and fun season to talk about, even though we had some negative drama that's kind of happened, and I'm bored of the errand of it all. I am happy to talk about it with you. It's still fun for me. I need you to you have to go and watch Dancing with the Stars. I just need you to
I'll watch
Matt's
dance. I'll watch Matt's dance.
His little
I'll have a full opinion on it for our next episode.
Yeah, well, there'll be 2 episodes unless he gets dumped. So that will be fun. Okay, so Tamika says it's 3 hours next week.
Okay, then.
Like hour and a half, or 1 hour, 2 hours. Like maybe there'll be an hour after Dancing with the Stars or something. I don't know. Weird.
Oh my god.
or they break it up on the same day and have, I don't know, or they do a Tuesday, Thursday. I don't know. We'll see how they do it. But we'll be back. Thank you, Tamika, Natalie, Jessica, and if there's anybody else in the chat that I've forgotten, thank you for being here. And if you're watching this after, please like this video. It's great for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe if you haven't already. And leave us a comment as to what you think Ivan must have done to be warranted a sit-down fourth wall break with the producer. I want to know what your thoughts are. No spoilers, but thoughts are welcomed. So we'll be seeing you next time. Thanks, guys. Bye. Ciao.